Psychological instability. Psychological instability is a very, very strong issue. Psychological instability, this is like this individual emotional imbalance. Psychological instability, this is the topic, right? But in a little definition, this could be referred to as individual emotional or thought imbalance due to certain trigger, thought, occasion, or it could be periodically. How can you control this? And how can you be in charge? This psychological instability is an emotionally fluctuation up and down. It could be due to certain reason. The other party could trigger you up. It could be due to flashback of certain memory, and at the same time, it could be due to certain repetition of an occurrence when something repeating itself. This normally happens to men and women. On many cases, when majority of men are broke financially, mood doesn't stable. Mood doesn't stable when men's wallet is dry. On women's side, on many occasions, when women been probably abused or been hurt emotionally, this psychological instability will trigger off. But all this is still have to do with you. Why? Because you are the gatekeeper of your heart. No matter what happen in this life journey, once you have certain wisdom and knowledge, you have to know that majority of what we are calling now is not now. It's just an illusion. This have nothing to do with any religion, but it got a lot to do with spirituality, because you are light. Yeah. And what make you a strong light and bright and shining light is your heart, your brain, and your thought. The rate of your heart, your brain, how your brain is functioning, and your thought. Thought is what are you thinking? As I'm talking to you now, I can be in Switzerland in my thinking. I can be in Canada in my thinking. And within a couple of seconds, I've been to Saudi Arabia and come back to the same spot. We call it monkey mind. Pew, pew, pew. But for you to be in charge of this, when you are in control of your distress, your trauma, your stress, and your disturbances, that means you are psychologically balanced. Vice versa. If you are not in charge of all that, if you are not in charge of your distress, your whole trauma, your bad memory, and you can't even control your thought, that means you are psychological imbalance, and that could trigger a law. The more you remain, let's say an anger occur, something happen, it could be between the two friends, and the more you still repeating that and still ready to cause damage, the more your psychological imbalance. And meanwhile, the other party, that both of you involved in that occurrence, know that what happened is not suitable, but him or her has pegged it and ready to move on. But you are not ready. You are not ready to move on. That shows you are psychological imbalance. When you realize that you are broke and you got a lot of certain responsibility, but for you to shift your mind into positive thought and looking for strategy of how to make income, you're just going moody, mood swing, emotionally untouched. That shows you are psychological imbalance. Some category of people, after certain period of time in every month, you are untouchable. You are like breaking things, punching and fighting and verbal abuse in terms of anything. That shows you are psychological imbalance. All these are not to poke nobody, but we are here to point you into certain direction that look, where you heading is not gonna be helpful. Bad thought often and often, mood swing often and often, negativity often and often will never lead you to any better destination. They are destruction trend. And for you to turn up a new leaf, to yield to new leaf, there's a certain way you can cope with that. The first one is self-awareness. You have to be in charge. That, okay, I know what this gentleman being mentioned, been happened to me, maybe every day, maybe every month, maybe once in a week, and the outcome and result is not good. The number one is for you to accept it first, to know that you've been involved in that you are being into that situation and it's not helping you. Once that acceptance has been aware of, then we can move to second, chapter. What could be the second chapter? Create a routine. The first routine to start with, both male and female, at least you're sleeping on a bed, isn't it? Take this task home from today. Whenever you come out from your, get up from your bed, before you step out, lay your bed. It sounds so silly, but lay your bed. That's number two. We are doing this for the programming. Once you lay in that bed, a thought will be coming to you. Why am I laying this bed? The reason why I'm laying this bed is to control my hunger, is to stabilize my emotion, is for me to be psychological balance. You lay it today, you lay it tomorrow, you lay it forever. Once you do that, there will be a shift. That's number 2. Number 3, you have to create chance for positive thinking. Give positive thinking a chance. Some people believe that something better is not good for them, or when it's too better, it's too much for them. No. You've been programmed that things are difficult, things are tough, and the program's still going on up to today. But the good news is that you can shift that from now on. Whenever a thought of, anger comes to you, give a room, deliberately, and that's what we call control. You are in charge, you are in control. Give a room of peace, for thought of peace. When the anger comes, think of peace. When the stress comes, think of being joyful. When you think you have no penny, imagine if you have more than enough. For that thought on its own, it's not that you will imagine that and you won't do nothing. But the main thing is that your wallet can't get fat with negative thoughts. Before you can have enough in the bank, you must have enough in you first. And that's what make your mood, that's what boosts your mood, your energy, and that's what even motivates you to go and work, even hustle. But if you're embracing and welcoming negative thought all the time, you will be lazy from the mind, from the brain. And once the brain is lazy, nothing the muscle can do. Then you could be remaining broke forever, which you don't mean that. We say number 3. Number 4 is, if you think it's too tough for you, seek for professional help, like therapist, psychologist, counselor. Anything that you think could help you, seek for professional help, or create, or belong to a group that could help you emotionally, psychologically, or even financially. They don't have to donate for you, but they could motivate you and point to you what you can do, what you can invest, effort you can make, training, vocational training that you could do to make you balance. And once you see that and you achieve it, confidence will build up. And once confidence build up, you move to next chapter. And you start believing that, okay, I can do this. I thought that would never be achieved, but now achieve it. That means it's okay. That's number 4. Number 5, self-appraises. Always praise yourself. When you wake up in the morning, praise yourself. When you achieve small goal, even when you finish laying down your bed, praise yourself. When you finish your work, praise yourself. When you finish brushing your teeth, praise yourself. It sounds like mumbo jumbo. It sounds so silly. But what the majority don't know is that here you are in physical, and I know all of you are aware that you have shadow, that you think is nothing. But there's another psychological of you that even talking to you, always whispering to you. And if there's no good communication between two of you, the friendship goes sour. And when the friendship goes sour, that's when you are mentally or psychological or emotionally derailing. It's not good news when it comes to that way, but it's a good news that you are aware that you have a psychological person that whispering to you all the time, and you can be in charge of that. If you know how to praise your friend, your lady, your partner, what about you? Remember, the charity begins at home. Before you could appreciate and love somebody first, you are the number one. And when people see that you in charge of yourself, no shy, no worry, no stress, that will pull people to you. That's a fact. It's not even a pride. It's not ego. Because you still remain humble, but you don't take nonsense. You know who you are. No one can bamboo you for who you are, and no one can rob you of your own emotionally right. You know all that. Even when they think they're robbing you, you're not breaking bottles or causing any damage. You know how to manipulate, how to maneuver over that and shift, simply because you know that nothing remains permanent. Everything shifts. We will stop on this. That's our 5 point for you regarding the psychological imbalance and how you can move yourself out of that box, because it's just a psychological jail, really, emotional jail, really, simply because of not knowing. But the funny part of it is that in the universe law or rules, ignorance is not an excuse. With the law of gravity, if you throw a stone up, it will come down. If you throw a baby up without a protection, the baby will land on the floor. The gravity won't say, oh, this is a baby, let me look after the baby. No. Same as anything. If you don't know how to manage your emotion will manage you. And what you have to know is that majority of emotion that are flowing this time around is not a positive one. You have to strive for positive one yourself. And that shows you are known. That shows you have wisdom. That shows you are ready. Thank you for being here up to now. If you watch this video up to this moment, thank you very much. For you to be in our support on YouTube, Babwat 1111, subscribe and give comment. On Instagram, Babwat1, follow and give likes. On TikTok, Babwat1, follow and leave your comment. Psychological imbalance. Twist it to psychological balance or emotionally balance. Good luck. Ire o.